Hey guys! So we are filming this a little late, but we are still...
Seems to be the theme here lately.
Yeah. So we are going to be covering week 2 of Big Brother Canada season 5. This week was interesting, to say the least. If you would have told me that that Dallas went home at the end of this week, I would have been like, what?
I'd been like, why? Why would that happen?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of fascinating that we're filming this after posting week 3 because the vets were like dead set on like keeping it together, and then 2 vets go home in the first 3 weeks. I don't know.
I don't get it. No, but it was. I got why.
And
it
Netta was HOH week 3 anyway.
Yeah. Like what?
But regardless, so this week started out with Dimitri, being glad that he was saved, and immediately goes into the HOH, and he ends up winning it. Netta was very close. She was second.
She was close, but like...
And she wanted to win
Why does that always happen? You go from the bottom to the top, and then you go from the top to the bottom again. Like, that happens a lot in Big Brother. It's like a common thing.
Yeah. And Dimitri ended up winning HOH, and of course Dylan, after Dimitri and Cassandra's little plan from week 1, Dimitri was going to put up Dylan and most likely Emily, which is what ended up happening. Just to stick with like his whole like, I still don't understand that really. Like the whole I get like making like enemy, but it was just so clearly fake. I don't know. It was so weird.
And now I think it is kind of real. Like it's just
well, like after that, then it's like okay, then you have to stick with it.
Yeah.
But I know you love making.
Say hi, Lukey. Okay.
No. And I will say it was smart for Dimitri to do that because, one, it wouldn't make any enemies. He already kind of called out Dylan week 1. And, I mean, coming back from being on the block, he kind of was in that position. Cassandra and Ika were kind of fighting for who was going to be... Ika and Cassandra were
fighting over who was gonna like be the puppet master of Dimitri, basically.
Right.
And Ika won because they essentially end up liking each other, so they're like a little.
Well, that and Cassandra gets sent home, but I feel like Dimitri was already kind of turning towards Ika, because
it was more genuine. They actually liked each other and were gonna work together, whereas Cassandra was gonna use him.
Right. But, and also, I believe Ika was kind of responsible for saving Dimitri week 1, along with Cassandra and Gary.
Yeah.
Like that whole blow up.
True.
So this week's veto competition, it was Oreo themed. Oreo sponsored. The Canadians love their sponsorships, and you know what? I don't mind them. I love them.
Because they make cool comps out of them.
Was this the week that they also did the breath?
For the dinner. It was like a luxury top.
Right. So basically, they paired up together, and one of them had to eat something. The other one was blindfolded.
This
and they
isn't
had to
the
guess.
veto. This was
This is just a separate
luxury
competition.
Top. Yeah.
But basically, what happened was they would pair up, and they would have to guess what the person that was eating off of their breath.
Off of their breath. I don't know what end I would want to be on because I don't want to eat certain things, but I don't really want to be like smelling people's breath. So I don't know, but it was a fun one, and Cassandra won, right?
Cassandra and Dre both won, and they got to have a little fancy dinner. It was just like a short little segment, a little like promo
cute.
for Colgate, I think it was, or a toothbrush or something.
Yes, it was Colgate, I think,
or like Crest,
Maybe it was Crest. It was something with a C, I think.
It was some toothbrush or toothpaste. They were like, oh, finally I get to rinse out my mouth with Crest. And I was like, you know what? I live for this.
It's fine.
I live for the sponsorship. Because it's not just a sponsorship. It's like...
They do more with it. And it's cheesy, but it's not like so cheesy that it's like cringe.
The only thing that I don't like about the sponsorships is wow, I just won HOH, and I walk into the HOH room, and I see my new table from the brick. Or I love my new chair from the brick. Because they just don't want to say it. They're like Dimitri especially, he's like, I love my new table from the brick. Okay, am I done? Can I stop now?
Can I go?
Like, shit, Canada, we get it. The sponsorship is from the brick, we get it. Love them. So
cute stuff. I mean, I like the way they've decorated, so I'm not mad at it.
I haven't noticed probably just because like I'm not like watching live feeds. But apparently they do change the furniture in the like HOH like every week because they get to vote on like. I'm sure it's cool. Just like tables or
little things,
not major things. It reminds me of All-Star 7 when they would change the HOH.
Yeah,
I wish they
did that.
Instead of this, I mean, like this HOH was nice, but it seemed kind of like dark and like sad. Plus, no one was ever in there because it was so cold. Apparently. Anyway, so the veto competition was Oreo.
The Oreo one.
And the little pregame thing that they had to do was
to get like an advantage.
They had to come up with the best dunk.
Like Oreo dunk.
Let's talk about a few of them. So
let's talk about a few of them.
Dimitri originally was going to like get it off of his face and like off of his pec into the cup, but then he like didn't do that.
Yeah.
From the actual thing. Karen did some stupid ass thing where she was like, you know, in life you can flip it and whatever, and then she literally
step it.
And she literally just like dropped it into the cup.
We were like,
and
Karen.
Like it was like the stupidest thing.
Why?
Netta had a cool one where she like attached it to like dental floss.
And then like
dipped it from like up top.
That was cool.
But the winner was Dre. She like has like.
She's like double jointed.
Yeah, so she like went all the way around her body and like dipped it.
So that was
she won. So basically, the advantage was she got a little bit of milk into her little container.
Because that was the comp was that you had they were like dressed like Oreos and there was like a bowl of milk.
If you guys are familiar with Big Brother US, you know the competitions are they're not around anymore. But there used to be a long stretch of time where they would have competitions where you would have like kind of a spongy outfit and you're dressed in like a spandex suit and you have to soak up as much liquid as you can and transfer it to your bin and see whoever got the most.
It's like an endurance. I guess you would put that under endurance.
Right. Typically, it's like a have-not competition, but this one, it was the veto, which I thought was cool.
It was cool.
So they basically had to run around in like this little milk drip thing into this
People
pool.
are slipping and falling and...
Yeah, Dylan fell like 3 times probably.
Hard.
One of them was really hard on his head, and I was like, what the fuck?
He's not
The safety of these that's one thing I will say. The safety of these competitions, like the first HOH, apparently like Netta like almost had like a split cranium because she hit the thing when she was attached to Will. Kevin and Dimitri fell really bad. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's one thing I'll say. I don't know.
It's different in the US, I guess. They have more regulations. Probably, honestly. I don't know.
I think they just didn't realize people were going to be falling like that.
They're like, ooh, we thought you were more athletic than
Or people were going to be slipping on milk on something like a glossy surface.
I don't know.
Anyway,
whatever. It was fun to watch. It definitely came down to Dimitri and Dylan.
And because...
Dylan just...
I feel like because Dylan was...
He came through.
He also got help from Emily because Emily was like... Well, there's no rules against blocking Dimitri from getting the pool,
I like to see that because that's stuff that I've thought of, and I'm like, well, I guess maybe they can't do it, or they didn't think of it. So it was nice to see.
Right,
sure.
And then like, there's nothing against the rules in some competitions where you get to help another person. For example, season 5, Diane was. It was the best circumstance for Diane to win the veto. Both Cowboy and Drew gave her supplies to make like a thing to grab a key longer. They both got their golf clubs, and she won it in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And you know,
so it happens.
It happens.
It's rare.
But sometimes it's not as interesting, but it makes it for like a more
to me.
Right. But like for that competition, it was like 5 minutes.
What they say work smarter, not harder. So.
Yeah, but I will give it to Dimitri. Dimitri, like. I already know, but like he's like insane with these competitions. Like if he's not winning, he's
close.
Literally second, like in everything. And it's not just physical; it's also mental comps. He's like really smart and really just like physical.
I don't know yet. We'll see.
We will see, but he's already won. He was close in that veto the first week. He was okay. He was close with well, he won HOH second week. He was close to winning the veto second week. And he just won the HOH week 3.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
So, yeah, so basically after the veto competition,
Oh Dallas my God! Talk about it. Just talk about
Dallas was kind of approached by Ika, and Ika was basically like, "What are you doing? Like, you haven't been with any of the veterans. You're hanging out with Dylan and Emily, the 2 people on the block. Like, you're gonna go home.
Like, what's wrong with you?" And
Dallas was like, and I will give it to him. He was putting in effort, but it was like too little, too late. Like,
he tried, but he poor Dylan. That's all I have to say. This man cannot win in this house with
week
these
1,
people.
we have Dimitri going, yeah, like, I know that there's 2 alphas, but like, you know, I just never really liked you. I feel like you're kind of a douche, and like, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go after you. And Dylan's just like, okay, I thought we were playing pool, but okay.
But it was a plan
to get him to stay, which I don't know how much that helped him, but
he's here, so you know,
kind of has to stick with it. And then
it was basically the same thing. It was basically another plan to try to stay.
Right. Dallas kind of had a feeling he was going to get put up. So right after Dylan was kind of like, after the speeches, I believe, like right before he was going to use the veto, or no, I think he may have already used. No, he definitely didn't use it yet. He was like standing up and he's like, "I'll give Emily a chance to like say bye." And then right after, Dallas was like, "Okay,
I want to say something.
I want to say something. If I stay here, I'm not going after you, Dimitri. I'm going after you, Dylan.
Because you're the reason.
You're like a." He called him like something,
like
and Dylan was like, "What the fuck,
person? I don't want to be your friend. I don't like you. You're my enemy," kind of thing. Like he just called him out.
Just
thought it was
going
to work, I guess.
And then Dimitri's like, "Dallas, you're going up," and Dallas was like, "Cool." And it was pretty much set from there. He wasn't gonna stay.
And he kind of like.
There was some doubt in the veteran's mind of like, are we going to get rid of a veteran?
Yeah.
But it was just like Dallas wasn't really in the core 6.
So they're like, you gotta go.
Yeah. And he was attached to Cassandra, which they did not.
They didn't like.
Yeah. So Dallas ended up getting evicted unanimously. It was kind of sad to see that none of them really wanted to evict him, but like they kind of had to.
Mm-hmm. It was just his time had come at that point.
It happened really quickly, but I mean things changed really rapidly.
That's what happens in the Big Brother house.
But yeah, week 2 is very kind of
it has some like drama and fire, but it's right at the end, and for the most part, like it's a good week, but it's not like
the luxury competition in the middle of the week definitely helped.
Yeah, it's good that they do that.
And the competitions in general. I will say that the soccer competition that Dimitri won was kind of... I would definitely not have been good at that. I feel like that's...
kind of a boring one too, though, to be honest.
It's so luck-based, I feel like. But, whatever. Anyway, that's week 2. Sorry, we're late.
Yep, You know, life's crazy.
But we will see you later.
Shortly.
He looks so sad.
You know. Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Bye.